Good morning, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm waiting for a train to come, and so I hope you guys are having a good day. I want to kind of do one today. We have a couple of things to kind of talk about. I think some interesting comments yesterday. Move my phone over a little bit here. First of all, we are at 900 days, and that's wonderful. So I feel very blessed. The Lord has given me this opportunity finally to get a maintain a streak. And even though I've had ups and downs with monk mode a little bit, we've actually been able to not release in 900 days. So this is wonderful, and obviously no FAP, things like that. So all that is good. And I appreciate all the great comments. And the funny thing is that our subscription is almost 900 too. So it's kind of a funny little thing. And so I appreciate that a great deal. It's really jumping up. I just can't believe the amount of interest we have in people, in the last 6 months especially. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you for all the discussion. It kind of has given me different ways of looking at this and encouraging me and inspiring me as a warrior to continue to battle on each day. And so thank you guys very much, and I hope what I'm doing is helping a little bit and kind of giving you guys a chance to think about this topic and look at it. So we had some interesting topics. I'm gonna call this one, I think, is semen retention real or a placebo? Because we had a lot of good comments here over the last few days, and I want to kind of talk about this a little bit as we talk about it. But first, thank you to Fresh Start, a nice comment. I don't always tell whether my skin looks clear. I don't really tell, age-wise, things like that. I do appreciate Adam. Thank you for the haircut comments, so that's kind of good too. I appreciate those things, and certainly, Giovanni, thank you, my friend. I'll get to all those shout-outs when I get a chance to read through them all. But I appreciate all that. And Scott Allen had a great question, and I guess we can start with this a little bit too. So he's asking me, because I had mentioned something the other day about beta males and being a beta male at one point, and I looked at things. I don't know if I was totally a beta male, but I guess, as I reflect back on this, I probably was more a beta male than an alpha male or a sigma male, whatever you want to call it. Whatever. The idea is that I wasn't hitting my full potential. And I think that one of the things that you have to kind of think about is how the mind works a little bit. And as I was doing this, my confidence level was very low. I didn't really think very highly of myself. And so as time went on, whether it was, dating or marriage or things like that, I would look at things in a different way. And I think that especially over the last, this happened when I started doing the Fountain of Youth stuff back in the 90s, but it really did not get to the point where it was really effective until the last few years when I started doing the NoFap and when I started doing the semen retention. Now, this is going to go back into our topic a little bit. Scott's asking me whether or not my wife, including, looks at me differently, and I would. The answer is a resounding yes. It is a resounding yes. My marriage is a lot better, I would say, because of this. Her level of respect and interaction for me is so much different within the last 3 years because of this. And I think so, Scott, I think it's a very interesting question, and I appreciate that question a great deal. No one's really kind of asked me that question, but that relationship is so much better because I believe that I am not in the mindset of just losing my energy all the time. So this kind of goes into the topic we want to talk about a little bit, because you are going to get different reactions from women, and most of them are going to be positive. And the idea is that they are sensing biologically that you're a different person. Now, what that is the question. Now, Monalisa had a very interesting comment. I've done a lot of research over the years on placebos and research in science and different types of areas and communications, things like that. And there is a placebo effect. There is no doubt. Now, Is this a placebo effect? That's the question. And I think that if it allows you to gain confidence, if it allows you to be able to be more disciplined, as with semen retention, then there is probably an aspect that you are gaining confidence. I would think that it is providing you abilities to draw people to you, because the mind can do that. And there is a law of attraction that we talk about. So in some respects, I would say that I would agree, Monalisa, you're right. There is a placebo effect with this. Now, the other part of this, however, is a little bit different too. I do think that when you talk about the fact that when you experience things, and I guess I can just talk about the experience of things for the last, before I went on the streak, 40 some years. When you look at this, you really have to kind of look at the idea of the cause and effect and everything else, and try to put your finger on what is causing this. Now, we can all agree that if you go on streaks in 900 days, I just feel unbelievable superpower. I believe this is the best I've felt in a long time, physically, spiritually, mentally, and all these things are created because of some reason. Now, the question is, what is that reason? Now, you can have a behavior, and as Monalisa is saying, you can then go ahead and believe that because of that, you're more confident. And I believe there is something to that's going to add to it. I don't think semen retention in it by itself is the only factor. However, I do believe, in my opinion, that it starts the process. You have to learn how to discipline yourself. And that discipline allows you to become more confident, stronger as a person, and thereby you will attract people to you of that nature. And so I think in that regard, Monalisa has a very, very good point. Now, others who will talk about semen retention, including as I talk about it a lot, I believe there's also a scientific part of this. I do believe that biologically, animals respond to high-level energy with males and females. I've seen that with dogs. I've seen that with cats over the years. I've seen that with birds, all kinds of different species. There is something to be said about individuals who have a high level of energy. Now, can every person have that high level energy? It's possible, but I also think there's certain people that have and have been able to cultivate energy. Now, is part of that mental? Sure, part of it is probably mental. But the other part of that really is something that's really highly, very physical in nature. And your subconscious is the idea that you are actually going ahead and being that strong person. And a lot of that is your biological makeup. Because if you end up releasing, you know this, if you release a lot, you can just see the side effects of that. And I just know from my experiences, when that used to happen, you used to be able to have, and I used to be very tired, cranky, depressed, anxious, all those type of things. Now, going back to our original question, how real is that? Well, that's a real state. Now, whether or not I felt guilty, there could be some guilt involved in that as well. Whether or not there was actually very physical, that's a very question. I don't have a specific answer. Obviously, that's why I'm talking about this. But I do believe there's a actual physical side to this. And once again, it comes down to a nature that you have. If you look at animals are not going to analyze things the way we analyze things. They have their own mechanisms and kind of develop their own things. But when you watch species, you look at them, they will respond. Male dogs will go crazy and female dogs. Male cats will chase female cats all over the place, right? That's a lot of that is that innate type of thing. Now, do humans have that? I believe all species have that. And I think part of that is people but they sense that biologically. So I believe that this attraction you're getting has also a physical and real component to it. And I'm kind of hedging between both of these, but there is truth to probably both sides of this. I think certainly there is an actual physical thing, because I would not have radically changed this much. Because if you think about this, I had 57 years of conditioning in the idea of, relapsing and not being attractive as much and those things and all those type of things. And now it's amazing. It's an amazing type of thing where you're just seeing a whole different type of landscape out there when it comes to attraction, when it comes to business success. And by the way, King Uche, thank you for responding as well. On your comment, I think that once again, you sense the business. You're not afraid of taking risks. You have that innate strength. And I guess the question becomes, is when you start retaining for long periods of time, is that a fact that all of a sudden your mind is changing and you're believing you're that way? Or are you just physically feeling better and stronger and you're not as anxious and now you can deal with it better? We know when it comes to stress and anxiety, we know that a lot of those things come from it's also a nutritional thing. It can be. It also can be something where you're depleting yourself, and all that anxiety and stress is making you weaker in many ways, because you don't have the ways to build up against it. Same thing with the immune system when it comes to cold. You're not, vitamin C, different types of things like that. I know that through all this kind of situation we've had the last couple of years, I've taken a lot of zinc and vitamin D, and I haven't been sick for many, many years. Now, part of that, I believe, can be attributed to vitamin C and things like that, but it also can be contributed to keeping your energy. So this is a very interesting question, and especially Monalisa brings it up. So shout out to you, and shout out to everybody else that's kind of talking about this. And Scott, thank you for your question. The same thing with Fresh Start. Everybody else has commented. I think the thing that after 900 days I want to say is that I believe, in my own opinion, from my experiences, that I believe there is a physical aspect to this more than I thought. I thought, like Monalisa's talking about, I thought it was really, a lot of it was a mental type of thing. And so that's why I didn't really buy into it a lot. And so all of a sudden I decided, okay, what the heck, at 57 or 58, I think it was 58, I said, okay, what the heck, I might as well go ahead and just try it. I have nothing to lose, because I was 58 and I was kind of getting to the, but I was feeling so bad, and so many aches and pains, different things like that, and no level of attraction whatsoever. That the effects of that changes. The other side of this is that there are physical things that are happening to you. Now again, it's hard to condition yourself that quickly after 8 years to go ahead and say, okay, your skin is glowing, or you look like you have a glow, or these type of things that people notice about you. Now that has to come from something, in my mind at least, that's a physical manifestation. So when we look at this, I believe there's a combination of things working here. I think there is a level of physical types of things that are happening to you, and the only thing that is different to me in this study that I did on myself, basically, is the fact that the only difference really is the retention that I'm doing. Everything else really is the same. I mean, I've been still doing the Fountain of Youth things, and reading that book, once again, you understand that, again, this energy you have inside of you, as they talk about back in the 1930s, is something that they've learned through Eastern, cultures and Western civilizations, that's something that really is something you need to take care of. And guys, the fact that you can actually have a child again by giving that semen to someone else does indicate to you there's a physical side of this. And so now the question is using it. Now, regardless of all of this, we all know, the 1% Club, that once you start doing this, you feel the effects. And I guess the bottom line really is to me that regardless if part of it is a placebo, part of it is real, part of it is looking at how you look at things and how you change looking at things, the effects are just outstanding. And after 900 days, they don't change. The power is growing stronger. I feel stronger with it. I feel closer to God. I'm leaving more of these material things away, and I'm focusing more on the things that are inside, spiritual types of things as I go along. So there's a reason why the Bible talks about fasting and praying and not releasing in many ways, because then you become unclean. The difference between being clean and unclean is a huge difference in the Bible, as far as I'm concerned, in my interpretation. So once again, this is a great question, actually, and I give Monalisa a lot of credit for bringing this up. I think this is something to think about, and think about the effects you're having and how you're changed and why you've changed. And the reason why you want to think about why you changed is because then you can go ahead and make those changes and continue to grow with those changes. If you know that part of it is a mental approach, well, then that's something to think about, because what you got to do is keep that mental approach going. If you also think that it's a physical type of thing, then certainly just don't release. Now, I thought, like I said, for 47 years, I thought it was more of a mental type of thing, and I could just turn it off and turn it on. But as other people have mentioned, and that we've talked about, the Rising King, for instance, thank you for your comment. And sometimes you relapse, sometimes you go back, and those type of things are not only a matter of the mental, but the physical. And I do believe there's a spirit. I do believe that Satan is out there, and I believe that's pushing you to a certain level. And so a lot of that mental could also be the evil one, kind of infiltrating your mind and brain, and it gets you to do things differently. So, all right, my friends. Well, anyway, great day today, 900 days. I hope you guys are going to have a great day today yourselves. Keep up the battle. We're going to keep going and see if we can try to look at some new ideas tomorrow. But thank you once again, Monalisa, everybody else, Fresh Start. You guys all make great comments. Once again, I'll focus on something, another topics tomorrow. Until then, guys, have a great day. And remember, every day is a new day to a wise warrior. And the main thing is to keep battling on, no matter what the reason is. This does work. God bless you guys. Battle on!